The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional marketing, financial, or legal advice. Search engine optimization is a volatile field subject to frequent algorithmic changes and market fluctuations. The strategies discussed are based on historical trends and case studies. However, individual results may vary significantly based on niche, competition, and website history. No specific ranking outcome is assured. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own due diligence or consult with a qualified SEO professional before making significant changes to their digital infrastructure or business strategy. Imagine waking up, grabbing your coffee, and opening your analytics dashboard only to see a vertical red line crashing toward zero. Your organic traffic, the lifeblood of your American business, has vanished overnight. For years you followed the rules. You wrote the blog posts, you bought the backlinks, and you optimized your meta tags. But suddenly, the Google algorithm decided your website no longer exists. This is not a hypothetical scenario. In the last 18 months, the US search landscape has undergone a tectonic shift, or what many industry veterans are calling the Great Down-indexing. Historical trends show that during major core updates, even established brands with decade-long histories can lose up to 80% of their visibility in a single week. If you are watching this, you are likely feeling that sting right now. You are seeing your competitors climb while your pages slip to the second, third, or 10th page of results. You might be wondering if you have been shadow banned, hit with a manual penalty, or if the era of traditional SEO is simply over. The truth is much more complex but also more fixable than you think. Most creators and business owners are treating the symptoms while the actual disease is a fundamental misunderstanding of how modern search engines evaluate value in a post-AI world. This is part 1 of our deep dive masterclass on SEO recovery and optimization. Today, we are not just looking at surface-level fixes like changing a title tag or adding a few keywords. We are performing a forensic audit of why the US search market has become so volatile, and exactly what the data tells us about the sites that survive versus the sites that disappear. By the end of this session, you will understand the invisible triggers that cause ranking drops, the difference between an algorithmic devaluation and a manual action, and the specific roadmap required to regain your standing in the most competitive search market on Earth. We are going to solve the problem of declining visibility by shifting your strategy from chasing algorithms to building an unshakable digital entity. To understand why your ranking dropped, we first have to look at the massive evolution of the US search results page. In the past, Google functioned like a librarian matching keywords to pages. Today, it functions like an elite concierge. The introduction of generative AI overviews and the constant refinement of the helpful content system have changed the definition of a quality site. When we look at case studies from the 2024 and 2025 core updates, a pattern emerges. The sites that saw the most dramatic drops weren't necessarily low quality in the eyes of a human, but they were technically or strategically misaligned with Google's new focus on information gain. Information gain is a concept from Google's own patents that suggests a page should provide new, unique information that hasn't already been stated 1,000 times on the internet. If your content is simply a summary of the top 5 results already ranking, the algorithm now views your page as redundant. In the US market, where content saturation is at an all-time high, redundancy is the fastest path to invisible rankings. Let's get into the mechanics of a ranking drop. There are generally 3 reasons your traffic falls off a cliff. The first is a manual action. This is when a human reviewer at Google looks at your site and decides you have violated their webmaster guidelines. This usually involves spammy automatically generated content, thin content with little or no added value, or unnatural links to your site. You can check for this in your Google Search Console under the Security and Manual Actions tab. If you see a notification there, you have a direct path to fixing it, but the road back is long and requires a formal reconsideration request. The second and far more common reason is an algorithmic devaluation. This is much subtler and harder to diagnose. This isn't a penalty. It's the algorithm deciding that other sites are simply more relevant or trustworthy than yours. This often happens during a core update. Historical trends indicate that these updates focus heavily on EAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. For the US audience, trust is the highest currency. If your site lacks clear authorship, if your About Us page is generic, or if you are writing about high-stakes topics like health or finance without verifiable credentials, the algorithm will suppress your rankings to protect the user. We have seen case studies where sites lost 60% of their traffic simply because they didn't have a physical address or a clear editorial policy listed on their site. In the eyes of a modern search engine, if you aren't a real entity, you aren't a reliable source. The third reason for a drop is technical decay or core web vital failure. The US has some of the highest standards for mobile user experience in the world. If your site's largest contentful paint or LCP takes longer than 2.5 seconds to load, or if your layout shifts as the page loads, what we call cumulative layout shift, you are actively being pushed down the rankings. Google's data shows that users are 24% less likely to abandon a site that meets these core web vital thresholds. If your competitors have optimized their server response times and minimized their JavaScript, and you haven't, you are losing the race before the user even reads your first sentence. We also have to discuss the search intent mismatch. This is a silent killer of rankings. Search intent is the why behind a user's query. In the US, intent is highly categorized into informational, navigational, transactional, and commercial investigation. If you were ranking for a keyword like best coffee makers with a long-form blog post, but Google's data now shows that users actually want to see a video carousel or a Reddit thread for that specific query, your blog post will drop regardless of how well written it is. The algorithm is constantly reevaluating what format the user prefers. If you aren't monitoring the search engine results page, or SERP features for your target keywords, you are flying blind. You might be trying to rank a text article for a query that Google has decided is now an image-first or video-first intent. As we move forward in this masterclass, we are going to break down the recovery process into actionable phases. We will look at how to perform a content audit to identify which pages are dragging down your entire domain's authority. We will explore the pruning strategy, where we actually delete or redirect underperforming content to concentrate link juice into your powerhouse pages. This sounds counterintuitive, deleting content to get more traffic, but in the current US SEO climate, less is often significantly more. We will also dive deep into the technical SEO checklist specifically tailored for US-based servers and content delivery networks. The goal here is not just to get back to where you were. The goal is to build a site that is algorithm-proof. By focusing on the historical trends of what search engines have rewarded over the last decade, originality, speed, and clear authority, we can position your brand to not only survive the next update, but to thrive because of it. Every time an update happens, it creates a vacuum. When a low-quality site drops, there is a vacancy on page 1. Our objective is to ensure your site is the obvious choice to fill that gap. This is a deep dive into the psychology of search and the math of authority. Let's begin the process of taking back your traffic. To understand the path forward, we must first confront the reality of the 2026 search landscape. Imagine you are Sarah, an entrepreneur in Austin, Texas, who spent the last 5 years building a premium eco-friendly home goods brand. By the end of 2025, your site was a powerhouse, ranking in the top 3 for high-intent keywords like sustainable kitchenware and organic cotton bedding. You were seeing consistent conversion rates and a growing email list. Then the March 2026 core update rolled out. Within 48 hours, Sarah's traffic from the United States fell by 65%. Her rankings didn't just slip to the second page, they vanished from the top 100 entirely. Sarah's first instinct was to check her backlinks, thinking she might have been hit by a negative SEO attack. But the data showed something different. Her technical foundation was solid, and her content was well written. The problem was a shift in how the algorithm weighs entity-based SEO versus keyword-based SEO. In the current 2026 environment, search engines are no longer looking for pages that match a query. They are looking for entities that own a topical space. Sarah's site was a victim of what we call semantic saturation. She was writing the same high-quality information that 500 other sites were writing. In the eyes of a 2026 algorithm powered by advanced large language models, Sarah provided zero information gain. To fix a drop like Sarah's, the first step is a surgical diagnosis using the Google Search Console. Historical trends suggest that the search results page has evolved to prioritize the Search Generative Experience, or SGE, which occupies the top 40% of the screen on mobile devices. If your content is not being cited within the AI overview, you are effectively invisible to the modern US consumer. To diagnose this, you must look at your performance report and filter by search type. Web versus search type, AI overview. If your web impressions are stable but your click-through rate is plummeting, it is highly likely that an AI-generated snapshot is answering the user's question before they ever reach your link. Case studies from the early months of 2026 show that the recovery process begins with an n-gram analysis of your top-performing pages. An n-gram is a contiguous sequence of n items from a given sample of text. By analyzing the n-grams of the pages that replaced you in the rankings, you can identify the specific subtopics or entities that the algorithm now considers essential for that query. For example, a major US-based travel blog recently saw a massive recovery by shifting their content from general destination guides to first-person experiential reports. They moved away from phrases like things to do in New York and moved toward phrases like my 3-day itinerary in Brooklyn as a solo traveler. This shift addresses the experience component of the AT framework, which has become the primary differentiator in a world flooded with AI-generated text. Now, let's look at the technical infrastructure required for a 2026 recovery. We must discuss interaction to next paint or INP. In 2024, Google officially replaced first input delay with INP as a core ranking factor. By 2026, this metric has become the gatekeeper for high-volume commercial queries. Imagine a user in Chicago trying to click a filter on your e-commerce site. If there is a delay of more than 200 milliseconds between their tap and the site's response, your INP score enters the Needs Improvement category. Historical data from top-tier US retail sites indicates that a poor INP score can lead to a 15% drop in organic visibility over a 6-month period. To fix this, you must audit your main thread activity. Often, the culprit is third-party tracking scripts or overly complex CSS animations that provide visual flair, but degrade the user experience on mobile devices. Step by step, the fix for technical decay starts with a deep dive into your Chrome User Experience Report. You need to identify if your ranking drop is localized to specific geographic regions or device types. In the US, mobile network speeds vary wildly between major hubs like Los Angeles and rural areas in the Midwest. If your site is heavy on unoptimized high-resolution images, you might be ranking well in high-speed fiber markets but failing in areas with spotty 5G coverage. Potential outcomes of optimizing your image delivery through a localized content delivery network include a stabilized ranking across all 50 states and a lower bounce rate among mobile users. Another critical factor in the 2026 US market is the authoritativeness of your digital footprint. Let's look at a case study of a financial advisory firm in New York. They saw a 30% ranking drop after the January 2026 update. The reason? Their lead writers were listed as staff writer or editorial team. In a high-stakes niche like finance, the algorithm now requires a direct link between the content and a verifiable human expert with a recognized digital presence. By creating detailed author schemas and linking to the writer's LinkedIn profiles and professional certifications, the firm was able to signal to the algorithm that their content was backed by real-world expertise. This is the difference between a website and a trusted authority. You also need to evaluate your internal link architecture. Many sites that saw drops in 2026 have what we call a flat site structure. This happens when your most important pages are more than 3 clicks away from your homepage. To fix this, you need to implement a pillar and cluster model. Your pillar page should be a comprehensive guide on a broad topic, and your cluster pages should dive deep into specific subtopics, all linking back to the pillar. This creates a topical map that search engines can easily navigate. Historical trends show that sites using this structure are far more resilient to core updates because they demonstrate a clear hierarchy of information. The potential outcomes of these fixes are not immediate. SEO in 2026 is a game of patience and data-driven iterations. It usually takes between 4 to 12 weeks for the algorithm to recrawl your site and recognize the improvements in your EAT signals and technical performance. During this time, it is vital to monitor your average position for your top 20 keywords. If you see a slow, steady climb, your strategy is working. If your rankings remain stagnant, it may indicate a deeper issue with your domain's overall trust score, often caused by legacy low-quality backlinks that need to be addressed. As we conclude this part of our deep dive, we have identified the technical and structural reasons why your rankings might have cratered. We have looked at the shift toward entity-based search and the importance of information gain and INP scores in the US market. However, there is a much larger force at play that most people are ignoring. It is the invisible wall that prevents even the most technically perfect sites from ranking if they lack a specific type of digital validation. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to expose the new link economy of 2026. The old way of buying guest posts and participating in link exchanges is not just dead. It is a liability that can lead to a permanent de-indexing of your brand. We will reveal the exact strategy used by the top 1% of US creators to earn high authority mentions from major news outlets and industry journals without spending a dime on traditional PR. If you have been wondering why your high-quality content is still stuck on page 5 while mediocre sites with better connections are dominating page 1, the next session will change everything you thought you knew about authority. We will break down the precise mechanics of the digital PR revolution and how you can use it to build a moat around your rankings that no algorithm update can penetrate. To truly grasp the new link economy of 2026, we have to look at the wreckage of traditional link building. For over a decade, the standard operating procedure for US-based SEOs was a numbers game. You would reach out to a list of 1,000 blogs, offer a $50 guest post fee, and hope for a do-follow link with your exact match anchor text. In 2026, that strategy is not just ineffective. It is a footprint that signals to the algorithm that your site is participating in link schemes. Historical trends from the last 3 Google Core updates show a massive devaluation of what we call mid-tier outreach links. If a website exists primarily to sell links, the algorithm now identifies its outgoing links as noise. Imagine Marcus, a founder of a boutique cybersecurity firm in Seattle. In late 2025, Marcus invested $20,000 into a massive guest posting campaign to rank for high-competition keywords like small business firewall solutions. He secured over 50 links from sites with a domain authority above 50. On paper, his metrics were climbing, but when the February 2026 update hit, his ranking stayed flat while a competitor with only 5 links surged to the top of the search results. The difference was the source and the sentiment of those links. Marcus's links were on generic tech blogs that cover everything from kitchen gadgets to crypto. His competitor, however, had earned a single mention in a Wired magazine article about the future of American infrastructure, and 4 links from university research papers. This is the shift from link building to link earning through digital PR. In the 2026 US market, Google uses natural language processing to evaluate the context surrounding a link. If your link appears in a paragraph that provides genuine editorial value, it carries weight. If it appears in a post titled 5 Things You Didn't Know About Firewalls that looks exactly like 10,000 other posts, it is ignored. The new gold standard is the high authority editorial mention. This is where your brand is cited as a source of information, a provider of data, or a key player in a specific industry conversation. The step-by-step framework for earning these links starts with the data-driven hook. Journalists at major US publications like the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times are under immense pressure to produce content that is backed by fresh, proprietary data. They don't want your opinion, they want your statistics. A successful case study involves a real estate platform that saw a 40% increase in organic traffic after publishing a report on the migration patterns of Gen Z in the Midwest 2026. They didn't just write a blog post. They used publicly available census data combined with their own internal user search data to create a unique visualization. They then pitched this data to local news outlets in Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan. Because the data was localized and timely, it earned over 30 high-authority backlinks from news sites that are virtually impossible to buy your way into. To replicate this, you must first identify a trend that is relevant to your niche, but also has a broad public interest. If you are in the fitness space, don't just talk about workouts. Conduct a survey of 1,000 US adults on their 2026 health tech usage. Once you have your data, you must create a media kit on your website. This is a dedicated page that includes high-resolution charts, a summary of your findings, and a clear quote from your CEO or lead expert. When you pitch this to a journalist, you are not asking for a link, you are providing them with a story. In the 2026 SEO environment, the link is simply the digital byproduct of a successful PR relationship. We also have to discuss the concept of link sentiment and co-occurrence. In 2026, Google's knowledge graph is sophisticated enough to understand that a brand name mention next to words like leader, expert, or innovative carries weight, even without a clickable hyperlink. This is called an unlinked brand mention. While a link is still the primary goal, these mentions build your entity's authority. If your US-based business is frequently mentioned on high-trust domains in association with your core keywords, you are building a semantic moat. Historical data suggests that sites with high brand search volume and frequent, unlinked mentions often rank higher than sites with more backlinks, but no brand recognition. Another critical component of the recovery process is the link audit and the potential use of the disavow tool. Many sites that saw drops in early 2026 are suffering from link rot or toxic link accumulation. Over time, the high-quality sites that once linked to you may have changed ownership, expired, or turned into link farms. If more than 30% of your link profile consists of these low-quality sources, the algorithm may categorize your site as part of a low-trust neighborhood. Step by step, you should use a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush to filter your backlinks by their toxicity score. If you find a pattern of links from foreign language domains that have nothing to do with your US-based business, or links from sites with zero organic traffic themselves, these are the candidates for disavowal. However, caution is required. Historical trends show that over-disavowing can sometimes hurt your rankings more than help them. You should only disavow links that are clearly part of a manual penalty or represent an obvious large-scale spam attack. For those of you targeting the US market specifically, you need to focus on geographic relevance. A link from a local business association in Chicago is more valuable for a Chicago-based service provider than a link from a global directory. In 2026, local relevance is a major ranking signal for the map pack and the localized organic results. This means your digital PR efforts should start locally. Sponsor a local event, participate in a charity drive, or provide a scholarship to a local university. These activities generate .gov and .edu links that are the most trusted signals in the Google ecosystem. Potential outcomes of this digital PR approach include not just higher rankings, but also a diversified traffic stream. When you earn a mention in a major publication, you get a surge of referral traffic that is often more qualified than organic search traffic. This traffic sends a powerful signal to Google. Real people are interested in this brand. This user behavior data is the ultimate confirmation of your site's quality. In the 2026 landscape, the algorithm is constantly watching for these real-world signals to validate its mathematical findings. But what happens when you have the links, you have the data, and you have the technical foundation, but your ranking still won't budge? This is where most SEOs hit a wall. They assume the problem is external, but the real issue is often buried deep within the content itself. There is a specific type of content trap that is currently wiping out thousands of US websites, and it has everything to do with how you are using AI tools in your workflow. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to dive into the AI content paradox. We will reveal why the content that looks perfect to your eyes might be a red flag to the algorithm. We will explore the 2026 standard for human-in-the-loop editing and show you the exact three-step process to de-robotize your content to satisfy the experience requirements of the AT guidelines. If you are using any form of generative AI to write your blog posts, you are likely standing on a landmine that is about to detonate. We will show you how to defuse it before the next update hits. The reason your rankings are currently in a freefall is likely due to the AI content paradox. In 2026, the barrier to entry for content creation has effectively vanished. Anyone with a browser can generate 5,000 words of grammatically perfect text in under 60 seconds. For the first few months of this era, many US-based creators saw their traffic explode as they flooded the zone with AI-generated articles. However, historical trends from the mid-2026 core updates show that Google has successfully recalibrated its valuation of what constitutes helpful content. The algorithm is no longer looking for the most comprehensive answer. It is looking for the most human answer. Imagine David, a personal finance blogger based in Denver. In 2025, David decided to use a high-end generative AI tool to rewrite his entire library of 800 articles to make them more SEO-friendly. He optimized every header for long-tail keywords and ensured every paragraph had the perfect readability score. For 3 months, his traffic was stable. Then the April 2026 update hit. David's site was flagged as unhelpful. Why? Because while the information was factually correct, it was semantically hollow. It lacked what the US search market now demands: information gain. Information gain is the delta between what everyone else is saying and what you are uniquely contributing to the conversation. David's AI was simply synthesizing the top 10 results on Google. It was a digital echo, and in 2026, echoes are filtered out. To fix a drop caused by AI saturation, you must implement a human-in-the-loop workflow. This is not about stopping the use of AI. It is about changing your role from a prompt engineer to an investigative editor. The first step in this deep dive recovery is the anecdote injection. Historical data indicates that content containing first-person narratives, words like "I discovered," "in my experience," or "our team tested," rank significantly higher in the 2026 search environment. If you are writing about the best hiking boots for the Pacific Northwest, a generic AI description of the leather quality will fail. Instead, you need to describe how those boots felt on the 4th mile of a rainy hike in the Cascades. This sensory detail provides a data point that an LLM cannot fake without specific human input. The second step is the opinionated angle. One of the clearest indicators of low-effort AI content is its neutrality. AI is designed to be safe and balanced, often presenting multiple sides of an issue without taking a definitive stance. Humans, however, have opinions. In the US market, consumers are looking for leadership and clear recommendations. If you are reviewing software, don't just list the features. State clearly why you believe one specific feature is a waste of time, or why a competitor's interface is superior. This level of subjectivity is a strong signal of expertise and experience, two pillars of the EAT framework that the 2026 algorithm prioritizes. We also need to look at the technical side of how Google identifies the AI-to-human ratio, specifically through the lens of perplexity and burstiness. Perplexity measures the randomness of the text, while burstiness measures the variation in sentence structure and length. AI-generated text tends to have low burstiness. It is monotonous, with sentences that are roughly the same length and complexity. Human writing is naturally erratic. To de-robotize your content, you must manually break the rhythm. Use short, punchy fragments for emphasis. Follow them with a complex, multi-clause sentence that explores a nuance. Case studies from top-performing US news sites show that articles with high structural variance stay on the first page longer and have a 40% higher dwell time than their more uniform competitors. Let's talk about a specific 2026 recovery case study. A major US-based home improvement site that lost 40% of its organic traffic. Their strategy for recovery wasn't to write more. It was to rewrite less. They identified their top 50 most important pages and applied a 3-layer edit. Layer 1 was the fact-check and update. In 2026, information becomes obsolete faster than ever. They updated every price point, every model number, and every external link to ensure it reflected the current year's reality. Layer 2 was the credibility layer. They added a section to each article titled "How We Tested This," which included photos of their staff actually using the products in a real-world setting. They even included a small disclaimer about what didn't work. Layer 3 was the interactive element. They replaced static images with short, 10-second original video clips of specific product features. Potential outcomes of this intensive manual effort included a full recovery of their lost rankings within 90 days and an all-time high in their conversion rate. Another critical component of the 2026 SEO landscape is the author schema. In the US, the concept of the authoritative entity has expanded. It is no longer enough to have a bio at the bottom of the page. You must use JSON-LD schema to link your authors to their wider digital footprint. This includes their same as properties, pointing to their verified social media profiles, their contributions to other high-authority sites, and even their professional licenses. If the algorithm can connect the person writing the content to a real-world professional history, the trust score for that specific URL skyrockets. We have seen instances where simply upgrading the author schema led to a 20% lift in visibility, without changing a single word of the actual content. You must also be wary of the conclusion trap. AI almost always ends an article with a summary that begins with "in conclusion" or "to summarize." This is a massive footprint. In 2026, you should avoid these formulaic endings. Instead, end your content with the next steps or a what to watch for section. Provide forward-looking value, rather than a redundant summary. The goal is to keep the user engaged until the very last pixel of the page. As we move forward in this masterclass, we have to recognize that great content and high-quality links are only half of the battle. There is a new phenomenon in the US search market that is stealing clicks, even from the #1 ranked site. It is the rise of the zero-click reality. Even if you are ranking at the top, you might be losing 60% of your potential traffic to Google's own internal features. In the next part of this deep dive, we are going to explore the psychology of the 2026 searcher and the art of featured snippet hijacking. We will show you how to structure your data so that you become the source for the AI overview, rather than the victim of it. We will reveal the exact formatting tricks, from table structures to bulleted lists, that force the algorithm to choose your content as the definitive answer for the US market. If you are tired of ranking well but seeing your click-through rate decline, the next session is where we turn those rankings into actual revenue. The transition from a search engine to an answer engine is no longer a future prediction. It is the current reality of the 2026 American digital market. To understand why your click-through rate is plummeting even when your rankings appear stable, we have to look at the psychology of the modern US searcher. Imagine Chloe, a nutritionist based in Miami who specializes in high-performance athletic diets. For years, Chloe's site was the top result for queries like best pre-workout meals for marathon runners. In 2024, that #1 spot would have yielded a 30% click-through rate. In 2026, Chloe is lucky to see 8%. The reason is not a loss of quality. It is the AI overview and the featured snippet taking up the entire above-the-fold real estate. In the current landscape, Google's Search Generative Experience, or SGE, synthesizes information from the top 3 to 5 results and presents a definitive multi-paragraph answer right at the top of the page. For a user in a hurry, there is often no reason to scroll down and click on Chloe's link. This is the zero-click reality. If you want to survive this, you have to stop trying to hide your best information behind a click. You must learn the art of featured snippet hijacking. This is the strategic process of formatting your content so that the algorithm has no choice but to use your data as its primary source. Historical trends show that the algorithm prioritizes specific structural patterns when selecting a source for the AI overview or a featured snippet. The first step in this hijacking process is the snippet bait paragraph. This is a 40 to 60 word section placed immediately under your primary H1 or relevant H2 header. It must answer the query directly without fluff, using a subject-verb-object structure. For example, if Chloe wants to reclaim her spot, she shouldn't start her article with an anecdote about her first marathon. She should start with a clear, concise definition. The best pre-workout meals for marathon runners consist of complex carbohydrates like oatmeal, simple sugars from fruit for immediate energy, and a small amount of lean protein to prevent muscle breakdown. This specific word count and direct tone are exactly what the 2026 algorithm looks for when it needs to populate an answer box. Step by step, the next layer of this strategy is the table and list optimization. Data in 2026 is evaluated based on its parsability. If you have a comparison of 5 different products, do not write 5 separate paragraphs. Create a clean HTML table. Historical data from high-traffic US e-commerce sites indicates that pages with well-structured tables are 60% more likely to be featured in the comparison grid feature of the AI overview. The algorithm loves rows and columns because it can easily extract those data points to answer multifaceted user queries. If you are comparing the cost of living in various US cities, a table with columns for median rent, average utility cost, and grocery index is far more likely to rank than a series of descriptive paragraphs. Let's look at a case study of a tech review site based in San Francisco. They saw a 25% drop in traffic after the January 2026 update. Their recovery strategy involved what we call the listicle inversion. Instead of putting their top-ranked product at the bottom of the page to encourage scrolling, they put a summary list at the very top, marked up with ordered list schema. By giving the answer away immediately, they actually saw their click-through rate increase. Why? Because while the AI overview gave the user the names of the products, it didn't provide the nuance of the full review. By being the cited source for that list, the site established itself as the ultimate authority, prompting users to click through to see the deep dive testing data that the AI summary lacked. This brings us to the curiosity gap. In 2026, you cannot rely on the user clicking just to find the answer. You have to provide the answer and then offer a compelling reason to keep reading. This is the difference between a search engine and an insight engine. If Chloe provides the list of meals, she should follow it with a section titled "Why These 5 Meals Failed Our Glycemic Index Test." This creates a psychological open loop. The user has the answer to their initial question, but they are now presented with a new, more interesting problem that only Chloe's first-hand experience can solve. Potential outcomes of this approach include not just a recovery in clicks, but an increase in time on page and brand loyalty. We also have to discuss the technical implementation of schema markup for 2026. If you are not using JSON-LD schema to explicitly tell Google what your content is, you are leaving your rankings to chance. For the US market, 3 specific types of schema are now mandatory for high-ranking visibility. First is the FAQ schema. Even if you don't have a dedicated FAQ section, you should wrap your questions and answers in this markup. This allows your content to expand in the search results, pushing competitors further down the page. Second is the how to schema, which is essential for any instructional content. This enables Google to display your steps as a carousel, which is highly effective for capturing mobile users. Third is the speakable schema, which identifies sections of your content that are best suited for voice search via devices like Google Home or Amazon Alexa. In 2026, a significant percentage of US searches are conducted via voice while driving or multitasking, and being the spoken answer is a massive win for brand recognition. Another critical factor is the refresh cycle. Historical trends show that in the fast-paced US market, content has a shorter shelf life than ever before. A site that was ranking for the best credit cards in 2025 will be completely ignored in 2026 if it doesn't reflect the latest interest rate changes from the Federal Reserve. You need to implement a monthly audit of your top-performing pages. Update the dates in your titles, refresh the statistics, and check every outbound link. A single broken link on a high-traffic page is a signal to the algorithm that the content is no longer being maintained, which can trigger a rapid ranking drop. Imagine a scenario where a real estate firm in Phoenix is trying to rank for moving to Arizona guide. They have the best content, the best links, and the best technical setup, but they are still losing to a Reddit thread. This is a common phenomenon in 2026 known as the forum dominance. Google has started prioritizing hidden gems from community-led platforms. To fix this, you don't fight Reddit, you join it. By participating in these communities and providing value, you can drive high-intent traffic back to your site, which signals to the algorithm that your brand is a trusted part of the community conversation. This social validation is the final piece of the 2026 authority puzzle. But there is a deeper level to this strategy that most people are terrified to talk about. It is the concept of negative SEO and the rise of AI-driven bot attacks designed to tank competitor rankings. In the US, where competition is fierce, some actors are using sophisticated tools to flood their competitors with fake traffic and toxic signals to trigger an algorithmic penalty. If you have seen a sudden, inexplicable drop in your rankings despite doing everything right, you might be the victim of a coordinated attack. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to expose the dark side of SEO in 2026. We will show you how to identify if your site is under a negative SEO attack, the exact steps to shield your domain from malicious bot traffic, and how to use Google's own tools to neutralize toxic backlinks before they do permanent damage. We will also reveal the secret to the brand halo effect, why some brands seem to rank for everything they write regardless of the competition. If you want to protect what you have built and move into the elite tier of US search visibility, you cannot afford to miss the next session. The dark side of search engine optimization is a reality that many US-based creators and businesses ignore until it is too late. In 2026, the weapons of digital competition have evolved far beyond simple keyword stuffing. We are now seeing the rise of orchestrated negative SEO attacks that leverage massive bot networks to manipulate user signals. Imagine James, a professional software reviewer based in Seattle who runs a highly successful site comparing enterprise security tools. James had spent 3 years meticulously building his authority, but in early 2026, he noticed something terrifying in his Google Analytics 4 dashboard. His site was receiving a 400% spike in traffic, but the sessions lasted exactly 0 seconds, and the traffic was originating from a cluster of data centers that had no business visiting a niche security blog. This is a classic user signal attack. In the 2026 algorithmic environment, Google places immense weight on how users interact with your site. If the algorithm sees thousands of visitors landing on your page and immediately bouncing, it interprets this as a sign that your content is low quality or irrelevant to the query. For James, the potential outcomes were catastrophic. Within a week, his rankings for high-value terms like Best 2026 Firewall Software dropped from the first page to the 5th. His competitors hadn't outwritten him. They had simply made him look bad to the automated judge. To defend against this, you must first learn how to identify the fingerprints of a negative SEO campaign. Step 1 is monitoring your geographic traffic distribution. If you are a US-focused business and you see a sudden surge of traffic from regions where you have no marketing presence, such as specific server farms in Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia, you are likely being targeted. Historical trends show that these attacks often coincide with a sudden influx of thousands of low-quality, toxic backlinks. These links usually come from sites with adult content, gambling, or gibberish text, and they often use your most profitable keywords as the anchor text. This is designed to trigger Google's automated spam filters. The fix for a negative SEO attack in 2026 is multi-layered. First, you must implement a robust web application firewall, or WAF. Services like Cloudflare or Akamai offer specific bot mitigation features that can identify and challenge non-human traffic before it ever hits your server. By setting up a JS challenge for traffic originating from known high-risk data centers, you can neutralize the bounce rate manipulation. James was able to stabilize his metrics by blocking over 90% of the malicious traffic at the edge, preventing those 0-second sessions from being recorded as negative user signals. The second step is the link mitigation strategy. There is a heated debate in the SEO community about the use of the disavow tool in 2026. Google's official stance has often been that their systems are smart enough to ignore spam links automatically. However, case studies from high-competition niches like legal services or insurance in the US suggest that when an attack is massive enough, meaning tens of thousands of links per day, manual intervention is often necessary. If you decide to disavow, you must be surgical. Do not disavow every link you don't recognize. Only target the obvious patterns of toxicity that appeared during the attack window. Potential outcomes of a successful disavow file include a gradual restoration of trust and a stabilization of your ranking floor. Now, let's pivot to the more positive side of this equation: the brand halo effect. Have you ever wondered why a brand like the New York Times or Forbes can publish a mediocre article about a topic and instantly rank in the top 3, while your meticulously researched 3,000-word masterpiece is stuck on page 4? This is the brand halo. In 2026, Google treats a domain's overall brand authority as a massive multiplier for its individual pages. This is rooted in the concept of navigational intent. If a large number of people are typing your brand name into the search bar every day, searches like Sarah's Eco Shop or Marcus's Tech Reviews, it signals to the algorithm that your site is a destination, not just a result. Building a brand halo in the US market requires a shift from content production to entity validation. This starts with owning your knowledge graph. You must ensure that your business is represented accurately across all major authoritative platforms. This includes your LinkedIn company page, your Crunchbase profile, and even your presence on high-authority industry directories. When the algorithm sees the same consistent data points, address, phone number, key executives, and core services across these platforms, it builds a high-confidence entity profile for your brand. A specific strategy to manufacture this halo effect is the Brand Plus keyword campaign. Historical data suggests that when users search for a specific product followed by a brand name, such as 2026 mountain bikes trek, it significantly boosts the authority of that brand for the general keyword mountain bikes. To fix a ranking drop, you should look at ways to drive branded search volume. This can be achieved through social media engagement, email marketing, or even offline advertising. When Google sees a trend of users specifically looking for your site to solve their problems, it begins to apply the halo effect to your entire domain. Let's look at a case study of a mid-sized US supplement company that saw a 20% increase in overall organic traffic after focusing on branded search. They didn't just write more blog posts. They launched a series of informative short-form videos on social media that ended with the call to action: search for our brand name to see the full study. This surge in navigational queries led to their site ranking higher for broad, non-branded terms like organic protein powder. The algorithm concluded that if so many people were looking for this brand specifically, it must be the most relevant result for the general topic as well. The step-by-step process to build your own mini halo involves 3 core actions. First, optimize your About page to include a deep history of your business, your mission statement, and verifiable credentials of your leadership team. Second, implement organization schema on your homepage that links to all your social profiles and verified entity mentions. Third, focus on getting mentioned even without a link on high-authority US news sites. These mentions act as citations in a digital bibliography, reinforcing your status as a real and trusted entity. As we conclude this part of the masterclass, we have covered the defensive maneuvers required to protect your site from malicious actors and the offensive strategy of building brand authority to stay ahead of the curve. You now understand how to shield your domain from bot-driven user signal manipulation and how to leverage the brand halo effect to make your rankings more resilient. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that many creators find deeply frustrating. It is the concept of topical authority and the content depth trap. In the next part of this deep dive, we are going to explore the math of topical maps. We will reveal how to identify the content gaps in your site that are preventing you from being seen as a complete authority on your subject. We will show you how to use a semantic audit to discover the specific topics you haven't covered yet, topics that your competitors are using to siphon away your traffic. If you feel like you have covered everything but the algorithm still doesn't view you as the definitive source, the next session will provide the exact blueprint to achieve total topical dominance in the 2026 US search market. The concept of topical authority has moved from a sophisticated SEO theory to the primary filter through which the 2026 algorithm views the US search market. To understand why your rankings may have stagnated or dropped despite having high-quality individual pages, you must understand the math of the topical map. Imagine Isabella, a sustainable fashion consultant based in Nashville who runs an online platform for vintage American workwear. Isabella has written the most comprehensive guide on the internet about 1950s denim jackets. Her content is 5,000 words long, features original high-resolution photography, and has earned backlinks from several major fashion journals. Yet, when a user in New York searches for vintage denim jackets, Isabella's site is consistently outranked by a larger enthusiast forum and a legacy lifestyle brand whose actual page on denim jackets is shorter and less detailed. Isabella is a victim of the content depth trap. In the 2026 search environment, Google does not rank pages in a vacuum. It ranks domains based on their semantic density across an entire subject matter. If Isabella only has one incredible page about jackets but lacks content on the history of American textile mills, the evolution of copper rivets, or the specific care instructions for selvage denim, the algorithm views her expertise as narrow rather than authoritative. The larger competitor is winning because they have mapped the entire entity of denim. They have hundreds of smaller supporting pages that create a web of relevance. When the algorithm crawls their site, it sees a complete knowledge graph. When it crawls Isabella's, it sees a single, isolated peak of information. To fix this and achieve total topical dominance, you must start with a semantic audit of your entire domain. This is the process of identifying the nodes in your topical map that are currently empty. Historical trends in the US market show that the most resilient sites are those that follow the hub-and-spoke model with absolute mathematical precision. A case study of a major US-based home security firm illustrates this perfectly. In early 2026, they saw a 15% dip in traffic for their primary keyword, home security systems. Their recovery didn't involve building more links or lengthening their main sales page. Instead, they used a semantic auditing tool to identify 42 subtopics they had never covered, ranging from the psychology of deterrent lighting to the technical specifications of dual-band frequency hopping in wireless sensors. By publishing short, highly focused articles on these 42 microtopics and linking them all back to their main hub page, they regained their rankings and saw a 30% increase in topical trust scores within 60 days. The step-by-step process to build your topical map starts with the identification of your core entity. In the US market, an entity is defined not just by a keyword, but by its relationship to other known concepts in Google's Knowledge Vault. If your core entity is organic gardening, your topical map must include every related attribute: soil pH levels, nitrogen fixation, heirloom seed preservation, and even regional frost dates for different US zones. You should create a spreadsheet that lists your primary category and then branches out into primary subtopics, secondary subtopics, and long-tail questions. For every primary keyword you want to rank for, you should aim to have at least 10 supporting pieces of content that answer specific, granular questions related to that keyword. One of the biggest mistakes US creators make in 2026 is focusing only on high-volume keywords. Topical authority is built on the back of zero-volume keywords. These are queries so specific that tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush might show they get no monthly searches. However, the algorithm sees these pages as the proof of your expertise. If you are the only site that explains the chemical reaction between a specific type of organic fertilizer and alkaline soil in the American Southwest, you become the definitive source for that niche. When you link that niche page to your broader guide on organic fertilizers, you are passing what we call topical juice. This tells the algorithm that your broad guide is backed by deep, specialized knowledge. We must also discuss the role of the internal link as the nervous system of your topical authority. In 2026, the way you connect your pages is just as important as the content on the pages themselves. You must move away from generic anchor text like click here or read more. Your internal links should use descriptive, semantically related anchor text that helps the crawler understand the relationship between the two pages. For example, if Isabella is linking from her jacket guide to a page about vintage zippers, the anchor text should be something like the history of talon zippers in mid-century workwear. This provides a clear signal of relevance and helps the algorithm build a map of your site's expertise. Another critical factor in achieving topical dominance is the frequency of your content updates. In the US, where industries evolve rapidly, a topical map is not a static document. It is a living entity. Historical data from top-tier news and educational sites indicates that domains that update their supporting content at least once every quarter maintain a 20% higher ranking stability than those that let their supporting pages sit idle. This doesn't mean you need to rewrite every page. It means you should add a new paragraph of updated data, refresh the internal links, or add a new video testimonial. These micro-updates signal to Google that your authority is current and active. Potential outcomes of achieving total topical dominance include the ability to rank for new keywords almost instantly. When your domain reaches a certain threshold of topical authority, the algorithm begins to trust everything you publish within that niche. This is often seen in the US tech space, where authoritative sites like The Verge or TechCrunch can rank on the first page for a new product launch within minutes of hitting publish. They aren't ranking because of that specific article's backlinks. They are ranking because of the thousands of related articles they have published over the last decade. Imagine the scenario of a mid-sized US law firm specializing in intellectual property. They struggled to rank for high-competition terms like Patent Attorney New York until they shifted their strategy to topical dominance. They spent 6 months creating a massive library of content that covered every possible nuance of patent law, from the specifics of plant patents to the intricacies of international filing under the Patent Cooperation Treaty. They even created a glossary of 300 legal terms, each with its own dedicated URL. By the summer of 2026, they didn't just rank for patent attorney. They owned the entire intellectual property search landscape in their region. They became the go-to resource not because they had the most backlinks, but because they had the most complete answer to every possible question a user could ask. But there is a catch. You can have the most perfect topical map in the world and still fail if your site is suffering from a specific type of technical friction that is unique to the 2026 Mobile First Index. There is a new metric that Google has begun using to evaluate how US users interact with complex topical hubs, and if your site doesn't meet this standard, your authority will be ignored. In the next part of this masterclass, we are going to dive into the user experience signals that act as the final gatekeeper for your rankings. We will explore the concept of cognitive load in web design and how the layout of your information can either help or hurt your SEO. We will reveal the exact 2026 standards for mobile navigation, font legibility, and interactive elements that keep users on your site longer, sending the ultimate signal of quality to the algorithm. If you have built the content but the traffic still isn't converting, the next session will show you how to fix the invisible barriers that are driving your audience away. The invisible barriers that separate a high-ranking site from a forgotten one in 2026 often have nothing to do with keywords or backlinks. They are found in the milliseconds of delay and the microscopic frustrations of the user interface. Imagine Olivia, a boutique fitness studio owner in Los Angeles who spent the last year building a comprehensive online portal for high-intensity interval training. Olivia's content is world-class. She has hired top-tier videographers and expert trainers to produce her guides. On a high-end desktop computer with a fiber optic connection, her site is a masterpiece of modern web design. However, when the 2026 Mobile First Indexing updates rolled out, Olivia's organic traffic from mobile users in the United States plummeted by 50%. Her desktop rankings remained stable, but in a market where 85% of local searches happen on a smartphone, she was effectively invisible to her primary audience. Olivia's downfall was a failure to account for cognitive load and the technical evolution of the Mobile First Index. In 2026, Google's evaluation of user experience has shifted from simple page speed to what we call experience fluidity. This is measured through a combination of core web vitals and a new set of metrics focused on how much mental effort a user must expend to find an answer on your page. If your site is cluttered with pop-ups, shifting layouts, or navigation menus that require precise motor skills, the algorithm identifies this as high friction. For a user standing on a crowded subway in New York or walking through a busy street in Chicago, high friction equals an immediate bounce. Historical trends show that sites with a high cognitive load score see a 30% lower retention rate, which signals to the algorithm that the page is not meeting the user's immediate needs. The first step-by-step fix for Olivia, and for anyone seeing a mobile ranking drop, is the optimization of interaction to next paint, or INP. By 2026, INP has become the definitive metric for responsiveness. It measures the time it takes for a page to respond to every single user interaction, like clicking a button or tapping a menu. If your mobile site has a delay of more than 200 milliseconds, you are in the danger zone. Case studies from major US retail platforms indicate that improving INP scores from the needs improvement category to the good category results in an average 12% increase in organic visibility. To fix this, you must audit your third-party scripts. Many US-based sites are bogged down by excessive tracking pixels, heat mapping tools, and legacy ad networks that hijack the browser's main thread. By deferring these scripts or moving them to a web worker, you can free up the processor to respond instantly to the user's touch. Next, we must address the concept of visual stability, specifically cumulative layout shift. In the 2026 search landscape, a layout shift is no longer just a minor annoyance. It is a disqualifying factor for top-tier rankings. Imagine a user in Dallas trying to click a link to book a class on Olivia's site, but just as their thumb descends, an image loads at the top of the page, pushing the button down and causing the user to click an advertisement instead. This is a negative user signal that Google's Chrome User Experience Report tracks with extreme precision. To fix this, you must define explicit width and height attributes for every image and video on your site. This allows the browser to reserve the correct amount of space while the content is still downloading, ensuring a rock-solid interface that never jumps or stutters. We also have to discuss the 2026 standards for font legibility and the thumb zone. In the United States, accessibility is no longer an optional feature. It is a core ranking signal. If your body text is smaller than 16 pixels or if your line height is too cramped, you are penalizing users with visual impairments or those viewing their screens in bright sunlight. Furthermore, the thumb zone refers to the area of a mobile screen that is easily reachable with one hand. If your primary call to action or navigation links are tucked away in the top left corner, you are forcing the user to readjust their grip. Historical data suggests that sites that place their primary navigation within the bottom third of the mobile screen see a 20% increase in click-through rates and a corresponding lift in search rankings. Another critical element of the 2026 UX audit is the implementation of interactive micro-content. In the US market, users are increasingly moving away from passive reading and toward active participation. If you are a real estate agent in Phoenix, a 3,000-word article on mortgage rates is less effective than a simple, high-speed mortgage calculator embedded at the top of the page. These interactive elements do two things. They provide immediate, personalized value to the user, and they significantly increase dwell time. When a user spends 3 minutes interacting with a tool on your site, it sends a powerful signal to the algorithm that your domain is a high-utility destination. Potential outcomes of adding just one high-quality interactive tool to a pillar page include a stabilized ranking and a higher probability of being featured in the AI overview as a recommended resource. Let's look at a case study of a major US travel insurance provider. They saw a persistent ranking drop throughout late 2025. Their content was deep and their links were authoritative. However, an audit revealed that their mobile site had a massive cognitive load issue. The pages were dense with legal jargon and lacked clear visual signposts. Their recovery strategy involved the 2026 scannability overhaul. They broke their long paragraphs into 2-sentence fragments, used high-contrast bullet points for all key features, and added sticky navigation headers that allowed users to jump to specific sections of the policy. By making the information easier to digest in a mobile environment, they reduced their bounce rate by 40%. Within 90 days, their rankings for highly competitive insurance keywords returned to the top 3. The final layer of this UX deep dive is the use of content delivery networks that are optimized for US-specific regional performance. In 2026, the physical distance between your server and your user still matters. If your server is in Virginia but your primary audience is in Seattle, the latency can be enough to degrade your core Web Vitals scores. You must ensure that your CDN has edge nodes in every major US metropolitan area. This ensures that your images, CSS, and JavaScript are served from a location just a few miles away from the user, providing the near-instant load times that the 2026 algorithm demands for the #1 spot. As we conclude this part of the masterclass, you now have the blueprint for fixing the technical and psychological barriers that are suppressing your rankings. You understand how to optimize for INP, how to eliminate layout shifts, and how to reduce cognitive load to keep your users engaged. You have the tools to turn your mobile site from a liability into a competitive advantage. But even with a perfect user experience and a flawless topical map, there is a hidden force that is fundamentally reshaping the US search market. It is a force that exists outside of your website entirely. In the next part of this deep dive, we are going to explore the rise of the social search synergy. We will reveal how your presence on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn is directly influencing your Google rankings in 2026. We will show you how to use cross-platform signals to create a feedback loop that forces the algorithm to recognize you as a market leader. If you think SEO is only about what happens on your own domain, The next session will expose the massive blind spot that is likely holding you back from total dominance. We will break down the exact mechanics of how social authority is being translated into search equity, and how you can exploit this to leapfrog your competitors. In 2026, the wall between social media and search engines has been completely dismantled. It is no longer enough to look at your search console in a vacuum. You have to look at your social dashboard as a leading indicator of search success. Imagine Elena, a high-end interior designer in New York City. Elena had a technically perfect website and several high-authority backlinks from architecture blogs. However, her rankings for luxury home staging were stagnant for 18 months. Then one of her short-form videos on TikTok, showing a 30-second transformation of a penthouse in Manhattan, went viral. It wasn't just the millions of views that changed her business. It was what happened on Google's search results page 48 hours later. Thousands of people who saw Elena's video didn't click a link in her bio. Instead, they opened a new tab and typed Elena Rossi design into the search bar. This surge in branded search volume sent a massive shockwave through Google's local ranking algorithm. Historical trends in 2026 show that when a brand experiences a sudden spike in navigational queries, Google's trust score for that domain increases exponentially. The algorithm concludes that if so many people are searching for Elena by name, she must be the most relevant and authoritative entity for her niche. Potential outcomes of this branded surge include Elena moving from the second page to the first for general, high-competition keywords like interior design NYC, despite not adding a single new backlink to her site. This is the social search synergy in action. In the 2026 US search market, social media posts are no longer buried deep in the results. They are often the first thing a user sees. Google's perspectives filter and the integration of real-time social feeds mean that your LinkedIn articles, and even your posts on professional networks, are indexed within minutes. If you are a business owner in San Francisco, your latest post about industry trends might outrank your own homepage for a specific query. This is because Google views social platforms as a source of raw, authentic human experience. To fix a ranking drop, you must ensure that your social content is optimized with the same keyword rigor as your blog posts. Step by step, this means using spoken keywords in your videos because Google's AI now transcribes and indexes video audio for search. You must also use relevant hashtags that function as semantic markers, helping the algorithm categorize your entity across different platforms. Beyond simple traffic, the algorithm is now performing advanced sentiment analysis on social conversations. If your brand is being mentioned in a positive context on community forums or discussed in a high-engagement thread, the algorithm treats these as social citations. Case studies from early 2026 indicate that sites receiving traffic from social platforms where users spend more than 3 minutes on the destination page see a significant boost in their organic ranking floor. This is because the algorithm sees that your content is satisfying a social audience, which is a high bar test for human value. Imagine a tech startup in Austin that saw their traffic from search drop after a minor core update. They countered this by launching a highly interactive Q&A session on a major professional forum. The resulting high-quality referral traffic, characterized by long dwell times and low bounce rates, acted as a corrective signal to the algorithm, leading to a full ranking recovery within 6 weeks. To achieve total dominance, you must understand the role of social verification in the EAT framework. In 2026, the algorithm cross-references the author of a blog post with their social footprints to verify their expertise. If you claim to be an expert in cybersecurity but have no professional activity on professional networks and no citations from other experts in your field on social media, your trust score will remain capped. You must build what we call an entity hub. This involves linking your official website to your verified social profiles using same-as schema and ensuring that your professional history is consistent across all platforms. Historical data shows that authors with a high social authority score rank 30% faster for new topics than those without a verified social presence. Let's look at the mechanism of video-first search. In the United States, search intent is shifting toward visual confirmation. For many queries, Google is replacing the traditional blue link with a video snippet. If your website doesn't have embedded video that is also hosted on a platform like YouTube, you are leaving a massive gap in your visibility. Imagine Leo, a gear reviewer in Seattle. He posts a video review of a new outdoor camera. Google indexes the transcript of that video. He then embeds that video on his blog post. The blog post now ranks for both video searches and traditional text searches. He shares a short clip on social media, which drives more branded searches for the camera model plus his name. This creates a circular authority loop where each platform feeds the other, making it nearly impossible for a competitor with only a text-based site to outrank him. The step-by-step strategy for building this synergy starts with a social keyword audit. You need to identify which terms are trending on social media before they even hit the traditional keyword research tools. In 2026, social trends move at light speed. If you can create a blog post that addresses a trending social topic within 12 hours, you can capture the initial surge of search interest. Second, you must implement cross-platform internal linking. Your social bios should not just link to your homepage. They should link to specific pillar pages that correlate with your most popular social content. This creates a direct path for the algorithm to follow from a social signal to a website authority signal. Third, you must actively manage your brand sentiment. A sudden influx of negative social mentions can actually trigger a temporary ranking suppression in highly sensitive niches like finance or health. Potential outcomes of mastering this synergy include a diversified traffic profile that is resilient to any single platform's algorithm changes. If Google updates its core algorithm, your social traffic sustains you. If a social platform changes its feed, your search rankings provide a stable floor. This is the ultimate form of digital insurance for an American business. Historical trends suggest that the most successful brands of 2026 are those that treat their website and their social profiles as a single unified entity. They don't see them as separate channels but as different windows into the same house of authority. We also have to consider the impact of the influencer-expert hybrid. In the US, the lines between an influencer and a traditional subject matter expert have blurred. Google now rewards experts who have a following. If you are a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, your social following is a quantitative measure of your real-world influence. Case studies have shown that when an expert with a verified social following publishes a guest post on another site, that page ranks significantly higher than a similar post by an anonymous author. Your social audience is essentially a portable trust signal that you can take with you across the web. But as we reach the final stage of this masterclass, there is one ultimate question that remains. How do you tie all of these technical, structural, and social strategies together into a single automated system that future-proofs your rankings for the next decade? We have looked at the pieces of the puzzle, but we haven't yet discussed the master architecture. In the final part of this deep dive masterclass, we are going to reveal the 2027 SEO blueprint. We will go beyond the current year and look at the emerging signals that are just beginning to appear in the data. We will show you how to conduct a final authority audit to ensure there are no lingering weaknesses in your domain. Most importantly, we will share the secret of the perpetual traffic engine, a strategy used by the top 0.1% of US websites to ensure they never see a ranking drop again, no matter what the algorithm does next. Prepare yourself for the conclusion that will turn everything we have discussed into a permanent competitive advantage. To construct the 2027 SEO blueprint, we have to look at the signal flares being sent up by the algorithm right now in 2026. The most significant shift we are observing in the US search market is the move from answer engine optimization to agentic SEO. Imagine Alex, a renewable energy consultant based in Denver, Colorado. In 2024, Alex would type a query into a search bar. In 2026, Alex uses a personalized AI agent that lives on his devices. This agent doesn't just show him a list of links. It crawls the web on his behalf, synthesizes information, and performs actions. If your website is not structured to be understood by these autonomous agents, you are not just losing rankings, you are becoming invisible to the primary interface of the future. The first component of the 2027 blueprint is the concept of vector compatibility. Historical trends show that Google and other major search entities are moving away from traditional indexing and toward a multidimensional vector space. In this environment, your content is no longer a collection of keywords. It is a mathematical coordinate in a high-dimensional space of meaning. To fix a ranking drop in 2026 and prepare for 2027, you must ensure your content has high semantic density. This means that every paragraph must contribute to the overall thematic vector of the page. Case studies from the US solar industry show that sites that removed fluff and focused on high-precision technical data saw a 40% increase in their retrieval rate by AI agents. Step by step, the implementation of the 2027 blueprint starts with the forensic content audit. This is different from the audits we discussed in earlier parts of this masterclass. A forensic audit looks for toxic silence. This is the phenomenon where your site is technically perfect and contains good information, but that information is already part of the foundational training data of large language models. If you are just repeating what the AI already knows, you have no value to add to the search result. To fix this, you must identify the gaps in the AI's current knowledge. You do this by asking a high-end AI model a complex question about your niche. Whatever it gets wrong or oversimplifies is your opportunity. By creating content that corrects or adds nuance to the AI's common knowledge, you create information gain that the algorithm is forced to prioritize to provide a complete answer. Now, let's talk about the perpetual traffic engine. This is the master architecture that allows the top 0.1% of US websites to remain immune to algorithm updates. The engine is built on the principle of channel diversification and owned audience. Imagine a scenario where a personal finance platform in Charlotte, North Carolina, loses 50% of its Google traffic due to a core update. If that platform has a perpetual traffic engine, its revenue doesn't move. This is because they have spent the last 2 years building a direct relationship with their audience through a high-value newsletter, a dedicated mobile app, and a proprietary community forum. Historical data suggests that Google's algorithm uses brand strength as a primary filter for quality. When the algorithm sees that 20% of your traffic comes from direct URL entries and 30% from high-intent referral sources like specialized newsletters, it applies a trust multiplier to your organic search rankings. Potential outcomes of building this engine include a 60% reduction in traffic volatility. You are no longer renting your audience from Google. You are using Google as a discovery tool to bring people into an ecosystem you own. To implement this, you should focus on the lead-to-loyalty ratio. Every visitor who lands on your site via a search query must be presented with a compelling reason to stay in your world. Whether it is a proprietary tool, a weekly data report, or access to an exclusive community, your goal is to turn a searcher into a subscriber. The technical foundation of the perpetual traffic engine in 2026 and 2027 is the API-first content model. Most websites are built to be read by humans. In the coming year, the most successful sites will be those that are also built to be read by machines. This involves creating a public-facing API or a highly structured knowledge base that AI agents can query directly. Case studies of US-based SaaS companies show that providing a machine-readable version of their documentation led to a 50% increase in mentions within AI-generated overviews. This is because the AI prefers the path of least resistance. If your data is structured, clean, and easy to retrieve, the AI will use your site as its primary source. The final authority audit is the last step in this masterclass. This is a 20-point checklist designed to ensure your site is a fortress of authority. First, you must audit your expertise proof. Does every high-stakes page on your site have a clear, verifiable author with the link professional history? Second, you must audit your user signal integrity. Are your bounce rates and dwell times consistent across all 50 US states? Third, you must audit your semantic completeness. Have you filled all the nodes in your topical map? This audit should be performed every 90 days to ensure you are staying ahead of the decay that naturally occurs in a competitive market. We also need to address the evolution of the US searchers' expectations regarding privacy and speed. In 2027, the standard for a good site will be instantaneous. This means moving beyond standard CDNs and toward edge computing, where your site's logic actually runs on the server closest to the user. Historical trends indicate that as connection speeds increase, user patience decreases exponentially. A site that loads in 1 second will be considered slow by the standards of 2027. Potential outcomes of investing in edge computing include a permanent advantage in the core Web Vitals race, which is becoming the ultimate tiebreaker for the #1 spot. As we bring this deep dive masterclass to a close, remember that the goal of SEO has fundamentally changed. It is no longer about tricking a computer into thinking you are the best. It is about proving to a sophisticated system that you are an indispensable part of the Internet's knowledge graph. We have covered everything from the mechanics of the 2026 updates to the dark side of negative SEO, the psychology of the zero-click searcher, and the technical requirements of the agentic future. The path forward for Alex and for you is to stop chasing the algorithm and start leading the industry. By focusing on information gain, user experience fluidity, and the construction of a perpetual traffic engine, you are building a digital asset that transcends the search bar. The US market is the most competitive in the world, but it is also the most rewarding for those who are willing to go deep. You now have the full 10,000-word roadmap to recovery and dominance. The only thing left is the execution. While this masterclass has given you the foundational strategy to survive and thrive in 2026 and 2027, the landscape is always shifting. New search features are being tested in the US market every single week, and the move toward multimodal search, where images, videos, and voice are processed as a single query, is the next great frontier. If you are ready to see exactly how these multimodal signals are being weighted in the latest real-time data, you need to look at the emerging patterns of visual intent search. The journey to the top of the rankings is never truly finished. It is a process of continuous evolution and relentless commitment to quality.